If you are over 50 and you've even been thinking about van life, you need to start it now. I've got 5 really good reasons that you shouldn't wait. Let me tell you what they are. So let's get started. Here's number 1. You never know what life is going to throw at you. You may be thinking that you're going to wait until you retire, or you're going to wait until you have more money, or you're going to wait until whatever. But you just don't know. Things could totally get turned upside down between now and then maybe you could never do it. I have been thinking about van life off and on for maybe 7 or 8 years. Well, I just bought my van last year and I am so excited I did. Yes, money was a little tight. I wasn't really financially ready for it, but I learned 3 years ago how things can change overnight. At 53 years old, I was diagnosed with MS, and my life went into a whirlwind. I was so worried about all the things that might happen and all the things that I've always wanted to do that I might not ever be able to do. Luckily, my health has been holding out. I am living possibly the best years that I have ahead of me. So I'm doing it now. You should too. Number 2, you should start it now, even if you're not ready for that big trip or you're not ready to go full time. It's a really good idea to try it out on short trips, on weekends. Then maybe a 3-day weekend, then maybe a week-long trip before you decide to go cross-country without really knowing how everything works. And if you're planning on full-time, you definitely want to get used to how things work and how much space you have and how much you can bring before you pack up and go. Number 3, you need a little time to figure out the kinds of places that you are going to really enjoy going to and the kinds of places you want to camp at overnight. I've discovered that I really love Cracker Barrel parking lots. They're quiet. There's a convenient place to get a meal. I feel completely safe in those parking lots, and at least in the part of the country I've been traveling in, they're all over the place. The only issue I've found with the Cracker Barrel parking lots so far is that some of them, like the one I stayed at last night, doesn't seem to have any level spots that are away from the trash dumpster that the employees are going to be dealing with late at night and then first thing in the morning. And I certainly would never park in the spots near the front door. Being in a van that doesn't have a way to level without trying to figure out how to get myself up on some blocks, which I'm not going to do, I need something pretty close to level. But I digress, because this is about figuring out what you will like. Will you like state parks? Will you like free places that are at businesses? Will you like Harvest House, where you go to a farm or a winery or a church? Will you like boondocking in the middle of nowhere? There are a bunch of options, and while you might think you know what you're going to like, you really don't know until you try it. And the same goes for the kinds of things you're going to want to do. Well, again, you might have some ideas about what you really want to do on your treks. You might discover that you want to hit all the state parks. You might decide that you want to hit every single state in the country. You might decide you like exploring cities, and with a van, you actually can do that. So don't limit yourself. You can have ideas about what you want to do, but if you buy that van now, you have a chance to give it a try before you make that really big trip. Number 4, things break in vans. They do. Whether you buy the very most expensive one on the market that's brand new, or whether you buy something that's used but well cared for, things break. I can attest to that. I've had quite a few problems since I bought my van a year ago, but I don't regret it. There are things that I can manage with. Even though my fridge has been broken probably for the last month, I've been making it work. And it's not a bad idea to know how to work around those things and to get them fixed. So the little things that are gonna rattle and move around and break, you can fix those before you're on a major trip. Because sometimes all it takes is a little bit of bumping down the highway for a few hours for that thing to go wrong. And wouldn't you rather have it go wrong when you're out on a 3-day weekend than when you're on a 3-month cross-country trip? I would. You want to deal with the little quirks, not just the things that might break, but the little things that need tweaking. So there is a chain that on the inside that locks up the back doors on my rig from the inside, just like you might have on the front door of a home on the inside. Well, that chain is right next to the metal back door, and it rattled. So a little piece of round Velcro wedged between where the chain starts and that door solved the problem. As you can see, I've got pups with me, and I found that having a dog bowl of water or their food on the ground when I'm moving, they would be sliding all over the place. And even when I'm stopped, it's just too easy for the dogs or me to bump into them. So I picked up one of those rubber-backed little small area rugs that are perfect for bathrooms or kitchens because they're rubber on the backside and they don't slip and slide. Something you could easily pick up at Amazon. A little 4x6 rug. And then I cut it down to size. And I have 2 of them. I have one that's right behind the cab seats because I have about a foot and then it drops down about a 6-inch step. And I have another one that is on the floor right here in the entrance, right here, in this little spot that's right here, so that I don't slip around, they don't slip around. It just has a little bit of carpeting. And it just makes life so much easier, honestly. There we go. Do you see that? It's just a little bit of a rug. I cut it down, and the water bowl and the food bowls, they just finished eating, or they're empty. And actually my coffee pot and the carafe that I pour the coffee into after it is finished, because as soon as I'm done making coffee, I have to unplug it, and that means it stops staying warm. So I pour it into that stainless carafe, and they both sit there on that little rug, and they don't go anywhere while I'm driving. None of that moves, so I don't need to strap it down. And number 5, this one's really important. You might not like it. There are people that don't. You might find it's just way too small for you. You might find that you thought being on the road would be really fun, and it's just not. If you're not going to like it, I think that you want to figure that out before you sell your home and all your belongings so that you can move into a van full time. You can always do that later. Get the van. Give it a try. Do some exploring. If you don't like it, you're not out anything. because as long as you don't buy a brand new one, and that's another video that we should discuss, it's not going to depreciate much if you have it for a year or two, as long as you keep it in good condition. That's if you buy a used one. If you buy it, you don't really like it, you still have all your belongings, you still have your home, you could go ahead and sell it and you won't be out much, other than the experience and knowing that you gave it a try. But hopefully you will love it. And then you can make plans and you can decide if you want to sell everything and move in full time, or if you want to keep a home base and maybe do trips that are a month or 2 or 6, but have a place to come back to, which is my recommendation. Well, it's time for me to make dinner, so I'll see you next week.